Hello, I hope everybody is in, and it is good to see that some of you have managed to attend. Thank you so much. Today we are going to look at just two things. One, we're going to go through what we've been learning all the time, and we are going to take just most of our time there today so that we are able to pick some of these components or pick some of these core concepts and ensure we internalize them. We go a bit deeper. As much as where we are heading to is a bit more deeper, we are not going to, I'm not probably going to take you so deep to this for those who are almost, maybe they have just started listening very lately. We are going to take you back. And that's why there's a need to go back to recap some of the things, to pick you up so that we move together. I'm aware some of you are not have not been able to be with us all through at the same pace. So in this case, you will need to be taken back a bit to be reminded some of the few things here and there. And that is why we are having this session today. We are going to focus on some of the other display, and especially the 7-segment display. We want to look at what is this 7-segment display, how do I use it in my project, why is it important to know about it, and probably if we get time, we'll also want to see the practical way of connecting it to the Arduino and probably getting some data out of it or using it in a live, or maybe getting some more ideas during the talk about projects that can come as a result of you effectively using the 7-segment display. Then, okay, let's go straight to the recap of the day. And so far, I think in the last session, we basically talked more about if I can take you just back a little, we were basically, let me just take you back. We were talking about the buzzer. I think that was in our last lesson. We were basically looking at the buzzer and looking at the different sounds that the buzzer is able to produce. And we said the buzzer is a very, very wonderful tool that can be used to do many things, including singing, or rather playing a song, a national anthem and stuff like that. So you are well equipped when you know about the buzzer, and probably there's a tone. And remember, we were talking about the function of no tone, and then the function of just high and low. I mean, remember, we only know some majority now. We are very conversant with high for turning the actuators on. The actuators can be turned on by just putting high, or any output device turning on by high, and then turning it off by putting the word, or rather remember the concept we're talking about, low, as digital write low and then digital write high. So those are the major ways of how you can be able to turn these modules or these gadgets or these devices on and off, basically the actuators. But by yesterday, I think we learned, I mean, by the latest or the last lesson, we learned that there are functions, there are codes which are already been put in place. That's once you use those particular terms, they'll be able to accomplish some of these things very easily. But remember, you also have ability to come up with your own function. And we are going to look for ways so that we are able to create time so that we are able to create our own functions and use them in our projects. So I think that is very important. Sorry for talking too long without engaging you. Remember about the buzzer, the active versus passive buzzer. That one is something now done. Now today we want to talk about the 7-segment display. Probably before we go there, allow me just to take you back again to the various resources that we have shared with you. One is called the instructable circuit. Remember, we shared this instructable. It is, I think, probably you'll have to talk to the teacher, and the teachers and the project coordinators will be able to share with you, because we have shared in our common folder that this is one of the links. So here you'll get so many project ideas. You can look at what can be done by Arduino. There's this project here where you're using Bluetooth to reach the phone. It's so that you control some of the things using the phone. So yes, as much as we'd want to have displays, but you can as well connect your Arduino to the phone, to the already existing mobile phone, and you are able to get information from that Arduino. And this you can do it using the Bluetooth device or Bluetooth module, as you can see in this project. So there are many projects which are basically around Arduino, and you can see the way mobile charger timer using Arduino. I mean, there are so many things you can do around, and kindly ensure take time to go and visit, and then you can be able to tell. You can even add your look, Wi-Fi flower moisture sensor. So you put in the Wi-Fi, and you are able to look at it from the phone. You just connect to the Wi-Fi and you're able to connect. So find out how you can be able to display some of the information that was coming from Arduino. And this one, that's why probably based on this fact, I've been a bit taking time so that we don't really focus more on coming up with displays, because you can as well get these displays via the Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So kindly ensure that is well done and is understood. I don't know what other project you can be able to do. Then I think, again, I'm sharing also another community. This was another community for people who are also developing. It is called Hackstar.io. This is also a very wonderful resource for people who want to learn more about Arduino, and even you must be able to at least do some. You can see somebody has just made a wearable for fitness. There are people who don't know how to count the number of times they are going for push-ups. So if you can be moving push-up, and you count, Arduino counts for you. I think, look at that. Probably they're using which kind of sensor? Maybe distance sensor to be able to, and we have talked about the distance sensor, to be able to analyze how close are you. So when you're closer, then it counts. If you are far, it's not counting. So the more you do it, then the count begins. So you can think of anything. The project is for you to come up with any project, so you are not going to miss out completely. Now, I also have a very nice tool here for teaching, and this is called Autodesk Tinkercad. This is the one that I use specifically for teaching students, especially those who are very far away from us, or even out of the country. They can always attend some of our lessons, and we use this tool to teach them because it is a very good tool. I don't really need to have a physical Arduino with me. I just work with this to be able to get them do some of the things. So you can see some of the projects that we have been able to do here, and I want you to look very keenly, because, for example, we've talked about the potentiometer. We've also talked about the probably the PR sensor or motion sensor. Remember, we had something on temperature sensor, and then we've talked about distance, the ultra distance sensor. So let me just pick one of them. For example, even for example, let me pick probably the motion sensor, or yeah, let me pick the motion sensor, which is here. So when I click on that, okay, when I click on it, you see it opens, and when it opens, it will just take us to a platform where we are able to do something. I want to show you some of the things that are very connected. So if you can look at that, you'll see this is a breadboard, the same breadboard. Remember, everything here is being shown virtually, so you don't need to be worried about it. So this is motion sensor, and we've talked about the motion sensor. We even unpacked it and talked about it. Some other gadgets are on this other side of the screen, the right side of the screen, for those who are not able to see. But I'm moving my mouse a bit slowly so that you're able to see the part I'm talking about. And then, of course, the Arduino itself is here. And then, of course, the connection you have seen. This one, the motion sensor has been connected to the LED, and of course, remember, you must be having to have what we call the resisting, the resistor here to be able to get the right amount of power getting into the LED so that it doesn't burn. I think that's very clear. Remember the pins we are talking about, one is being positive and the other one is negative, or the other one is put on Arduino. It takes the 5 volts of the Arduino, that one in the middle, and then the one at the corner always takes the negative or the ground. You put it on the ground, and then you're good to go, and then everything. So probably if somebody comes closer to, or movement takes place, then this particular LED will just light. So let me touch simulation. I mean, the simulations are here. So when I click on start simulation, you can see I'm connecting the USB to the Arduino, and then now it is live. So if I move closer, I think maybe maybe I'm not able to move. Aha, so I think yes. So let me just put yes. Wow, I wish. Let me put like this so that you see this is the ball. Okay. So if I move it far, if any movement appears, then the LED lights. If the movement stops, now there's no movement, and therefore the LED does not light. Now look again, we move something in the range of where this particular thing is. Any movement that I make, the LED light. That's how the movement sensor or the motion sensor works. I think this one we've talked about. So you can come and look at it here. And remember also to look at the codes, because there is also the code. How was this one created? And I want you to look at the code. They were created in block-based coding. Remember, there are those ones who are asking, why are we learning Scratch? Can I use Scratch to code Arduino? Yes, they are very connected. Like now you see here, this is basically block-based, this language similar to that of Scratch. So the moment you know Scratch very well, you know how to get ifs and how to move your blocks, the way you move the blocks. It is very easy for you to be able to, you see you can move blocks the way you are being told. There are various categories of the block, the math, the control, the output, the input, the notation and stuff like that. And again, the same way you can always delete blocks. The same way you have been doing it is the same way actually you're able to do. So kindly ensure you learn more about it, and then so that you are able to do some of these things on your own. And then if you want, you can as well download. If you click here, you can be able to download. This is where I am. And remember, look at the mouse. I'm trying to make this as engaging as possible. The only problem now that you are away, I'm not able to engage you. But kindly, if you have any question, ensure you answer your question. You ask your question using the Q&A section on your right. You can always make it appear. So kindly, you can be able to download this code. The good thing about it, when it's downloaded, the code may not be able to be blocky, as you can see it, because the block, that aspect of block-based you may not get the right tool to open it with. Probably if Scratch can do, but in most cases when you download the code will come in form of the Arduino software. So it will be very easy for you just to fix the Arduino software. It will be very easy for you to fix it or to upload it through your Arduino in the physical environment, so that you also try it by yourself on the physical Arduino. So far, I think we need to look around. Of course, we'll be taking you the next level with a Scratch teacher to find out how we can teach you how to use Scratch with Arduino, so that you're able to do the same things you're doing in Scratch, but you bring it closer to the Arduino, so that at least most of those things are done. And the language is the same. You can even see, if you read here, set sensor state to read pin 2. So the sensor is already connected to pin 2 here. And then what do you say if sensor state is high? Because you remember sensor state will be high. If it's high, what do you do? Make LED high. And then you can also print in the serial monitor. Remember we talked about the serial monitor, and it's somewhere here you can always see it will always print activated, sensor activated. and then or else if there's no movement, what do? Just probably just turn the LED off and stop printing. And I think that is basically what we are seeing here. I don't know whether there's a question around this kind of format of teaching. Okay, good. So kindly have a look at the blocks, have a look at the various gadgets. There are so many. You can export, you can share with others, and know what you can be able to do all in all. So let me look at probably other projects that are there, or today we can start another project here, especially our next project. I want us to begin from here before probably taking it down to our Arduino. Probably I can't see the one I'm looking for, a project that I'm looking for, but will be, yeah, this is a very big opportunity for us to try and make projects so that at least we put them here. It is very important. If you want to know anything about Arduino, how to start with Arduino, you can. There's a lot to learn. There are so many nice tutorials here, which are basically for teacher-based, so the teachers can use them, and even the students can really use them. So once you click on Start, so that you learn about Arduino, it will take you step by step on basically what we have been able to do, so that you can read. So you'll be reading from the side, the left part. As you read in this project, you'll become familiar with the toolbox, with the Arduino basic kit. Remember the toolbox that comes with the Arduino basic kit, and we can click next to find out the LEDs and all that. So so I think we've talked about it. So LED. So what we'll need is a resistor. You bring it there. A push button, you will bring it there. An LED, you'll bring it there. Of course, the breadboard is already here. And remember the way we say the breadboard should be connected. We've always talked about that. So you keep looking, and you're told, can you bring those items? And you'll be able. You see, lesson is complete. Why? Because I've now known how to drag the equipment, or rather the devices which are needed for probably me to learn Arduino. So it will take you step by step. Kindly have a look at this wonderful resource, and it will be very good for you. I think that is as part of the recap. I don't know what I've really left. It's good to go back and always find out what you may want to learn from the Arduino space. Let the questions keep coming. When they come, I'll just publish them, and then we will be able to share together about Arduino. And especially today, we want to talk about another thing. We are calling that one, and we'll be I'll be showing you shortly, is the 7-segment display. I don't know whether that's not well written, so if I put a space, this is what we will be talking about. So today we want to learn about this module. It's a good module. We want to learn on how to connect it, and we'll be using this same platform now onward to be able to work together. There are offline ones which already the teachers are having, called Fritzing, but I'm going to use this for today because I just wanted to try also a different tool. But the good thing with it, you'll always see everything here is labeled. That is, and you can be able to see. And I'll be able to zoom it a bit closer to the screen so that you're able to see everything as we do them together. I don't know whether that will be good. So that is what we are going to do in a minute. So kindly, I want us to take a break, 1 minute break, and when we come back, I think we'll be talking about that. I think that was the recap. I don't know whether that was well understood. Any question, kindly share with us the question so that we keep going once the questions are here with us. Those 5 minutes are for the questions. Anybody with a question on I mean, not 5 minutes, especially just 1 minute or two. just to find out what you want. I'm seeing several guys have attended, very many people. Anybody with a question, kindly let us have the question about especially what we've done so far in Arduino. There's a lot we have really worked on. We've talked about the introduction to the Arduino. We talked about the Arduino kit. Basically, we are looking at the Arduino kit and we're saying what are some of the things we have in the Arduino kit that can be basically be used, or how do we use those components that are which are in the Arduino kit. Great, welcome back. Apparently, yes, I can see some questions have come. What name of that module we are learning today? I think we've talked about the 7-segment display, the one I've just put there. So at least you are able to see. That is the name we are going to deal with. The name is 7-segment display. Okay. And we want to see how it's used and the way we can be able to use it also in our project. Okay. So this is how it looks like. Almost, I know you may have done some projects where you've seen this kind of a thing. Probably, where have we seen this? Traffic lights, you can always see this similar thing. The clock, you have this kind of display. I don't know where else, even when there is some kind of an alarm countdown. Okay, wow, various components in Arduino kit. Yeah, somebody is saying, hi, I've missed a lot. How can I get the previous lessons on introduction? What we'll do, I think today I'm going to come up with the links for all of them, and then we'll put for you all of them on YouTube. Otherwise, the best way is to follow the same link which we are giving you, because this link is live until probably we remove, but we have not removed any link. Any of the meeting links, if you are part of the team, then you'll have so many links which you have put there. Kindly somebody is saying kindly share with us the chat. Oh, you are having a problem getting to see them. I think in the Arduino kit, when the Arduino kit is purchased, you'll find that in most cases they give some sort of a card. I really wish to forget my card. Can be able to. I think we'll be able to scan and send you the card. And I don't know whether we really got a card. Yes, so Arduino kit comes with a chart, right? It is possible. I wish you can be able to get the chart, and if you get the chart that comes with the board, it has everything. It has all those whatever the names of each and every component, especially because I'm just imagining most of the boards, they are coming differently. Some are coming with different kind of gadgets. So kindly ensure you have the right probably in your kit, you are able to identify each and every component that has come. I'm not very sure which kind of kit you're using, but I know the basic ones, they really come with the kit. So I'll take it upon myself, I think, to share on the site about the kit, and especially the what you're talking about, the chart that names each and every component. I'm very sure you're having problems looking at that. So thank you so much. So this is the 7. We call it, if it is 1, it is 7, and I'll be showing you why we call it 7 segments and why we also call it display. But of course, it's display. You have seen it almost everywhere. I don't know whether I've missed out another place that this particular kind of thing is really found. But in most cases, you can put it to really show sensor. Even when right now with the coronavirus, there's a lot of tests. People are coming up with gadgets. I've just seen one person trying to come up with a gadget of measuring temperature, and he's just using Arduino. And yeah, just a small young man from one of the schools. He says, I want to create this sensor that is able to collect the temperature of somebody. Just the same way we see those ones which are pointed at people's faces and they are able to connect. And okay, the idea is probably those other temperature sensors we are not able to get. So what about people doing this probably in their village? It is funny, but again, the idea which I'm bringing is because definitely is going to be using this kind of the display, because he may not be able to get the digital interface. Definitely just going to use this kind of the display. This kind of display is the one definitely is going to use. Correct. So why do we call this the digital? I mean, the 7 segments. We call it, we refer to it as 7 segment because of several reasons. But before we go to those reasons, kindly let us just have a look at this, the external. I think this is how it looks like for those people who, if you have the kit near you, you should be able to identify that it has pins, and the pins are 5. Always we'll find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each and every pin stands for something. They all these pins, they are working differently. But I want you to note that in all the 5, there is the one in the middle. This one is for the power. This is where we connect the power. The same to the other side. You'll see it, the one in the middle on the other side also is the same one. We are connecting power to. So probably I would really wish that you understand. So it means therefore we are remaining with this pin and this pin and this pin. So these are the pins that work to light the LED. So for example, we can have this pin or then that one. So this one like that. The way I'll just be showing you shortly. So these pins, all these are LEDs. These are LEDs. Although the kind of LEDs here, they're not the same as the one we are used to, but these ones are a bit flat. They're just LEDs, but they are flat. So they are the ones that are turned on and off to be able to display. So you have to combine the different ways so that you're able to turn off. For example, if you want one, definitely it means you only turn these 2 on and the rest are off. So you can see all these other LEDs are off, and then these 2 are the ones which are on, and therefore we'll be able to have letter 1. So I don't know, 3 will mean you turn this, you turn this, you turn this, you turn this, and you turn this on. Then it becomes 3. So that is how it is. So let us just see what happens. So this is how the seventh segment is divided. So you'll find that's how the lettering are. A is usually at the top. Then clockwise, B is the next LED. Then C, as you can see, D, E, F, and then the middle one is G. So if you turn on letter B and C, then you have 1. So probably when I want to display 1, it means I have to turn on which pins, which LED. I have to turn on B and C. Then I have letter 1. Okay. Then if I want to get letter 2, probably how do we put letter 2? Of course, it is A, G, E, D. So letter 2 is A, G, E, and D. So letter 3. So you can make a list of how even 1 to 10, an exercise. Can you take that exercise to kindly tell yourself, find out how do you turn on the different LEDs to form different letters, I mean numbers from 1 to probably 8 to 9, sorry, 1 to 9, not 1 to 10. How do you turn on the LED to be able to get 1 to 9? What about 4? Which lights should we light? One of these part of the segment, which segment should we light in letter 5, and letter 6, letter 7, 8, and then 9? So can you, if you have a paper and a pen, kindly, I'm giving you like seconds, try to see what will you turn on. Then remember, when I get back, we'll be talking about this section. Great, I think you've done something. So, and all the letters. So kindly ask yourself, which one will you be turning on? So once you know that is, and when we are turning on the other ones, it means the other ones will be off. And in Arduino, or rather in C, we use the digital, how we command. There is the coding. The code we use to turn on and off is high for on and low for off. So ensure this kind of ideas, you have them in your mind, because if you don't have that, then it will be looking so hard for you. So probably our next step is, of course, discuss about this D. The one in the corner here is called DP, which is decimal point. This is usually, you are only turning it on if at all you're dealing with the decimal point. So you'll be able to find out how do we manage to get this turning on, and which of the pin is responsible for what. Remember, we have in the segment, we have 5 pins, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, and the other side also it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have said that let me use a different color so that we get probably a green. And then we said this other one, this one is connected to the power. One can be connected to the positive and the other one is connected to the negative. It depends with your choice. But in most cases, I usually connect this to the negative and the other one to the positive, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. The only thing we make sure, so it means therefore you make sure that they are, as usual, you use a resistor so that they don't burn. These are very, very small LEDs. Remember, because they are just LEDs, you have to protect them. You have to use a limiting resistor to limit some bit of current from burning them. So it is important you check on that. Great. I think maybe you have now to know. Therefore, if we have taken this major pins, the ones in the middle, we have taken them out. So which pin is left? We are left with 1, 2, 3, 4. So meaning this pin 1 is responsible for the decimal point. Then pin, even if you try live, connect this to a positive power through a resistor, and then using, maybe take another jumper wire from 5 volts, not really 5 volts, yeah, or probably you can ground that, or take it from ground, and then when you come and touch this with the wire, you'll see what kind of LED light. So if I touch this with the wire, once I've connected this to the ground or the positive or 5 volts, then I touch this cable, this pin, what will happen is that it will light. Here it will light, this one will light. If I touch this, it is C. So this is responsible for C, like that, getting. So that is how it goes. And then probably this is responsible for D. And then this is responsible for E. Then, therefore, down here is covered. So we are remaining with up. Up again, you see we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So for the 4 pins which are there. So that's how we manage to get to connect what with what. Kindly ensure you take note of that, and you are always going to have a look at it. It's very important you learn this, because if you don't, then the pins will look so many, and the whole science behind this will even disappear. You'll not be able to see how this thing works. Perfect. So I think maybe, yeah, it's of course what I was just saying, that this pin 1, pin 2 is for D, remember, if A, B, C, D, E, F. And then pin 4 is for C. That's what I've just, let me change the color. I'm just repeating it here so that we get all of it together. So I've said pin C is now, the last, remember this one is not connected at all. This pin 8 and 3 are never connected to any, they are not connected to the segment. Then they are particularly for power. You can take one to be an cathode and the other one to be an anode. So one is positive, one is ground, one is fixed to the Arduino, whatever, to the ground, and the other one is fixed to the positive, or to the 5 volts. Then the rest of the pins are the ones you're going to fit in the Arduino pins. Probably pin 5, the digital pin 5 will take pin 5, then 4, then 2, then probably 12, 9, like that. So that's how we're going to do. So meanwhile, make sure you understand. So we are left with the 2 pins, this 4 and 5, and then pin 1 and 2. And pin 4 is responsible for lighting C, remember. And then pin 5 is responsible for lighting the decimal point here. Then pin 2 is responsible for lighting D, as I've just explained. Then pin 1 is for E. Then F, you come back up here now. Then 10 lights G, because it has to go in there to pick the G. Then 9 is coming here, and then 8 is 8 is already connected to the cathode, and then 7 is on A. Okay. Then 8 and 6 connects pin B. So that is how those pins are responsible for lighting those particular elements. So if you want to light something, remember I told you to come up with a table of probably 1 to 9, and you'll be able to refer to it when you want to connect and light up stuff around this. So try and do a couple of things around that. So I don't know whether the connection I had taken one, or we can do the connection physically. that's a different project. So let us just look at what we can be able to do. We can do this in the next 15 minutes here on this particular whatever. So what I need to do is possibly come back here and start so that I pick everybody with me, because there are those that have been left out. If you are left, we are going to help you. You're left out, we are here to help completely. So probably let me just take one that has nothing. Maybe let me look at my project and I click new, because this now is going to be my project, because I can't see where the segment is. So, but we are going to do one together with everyone so that we see the segment. So that is the, oh, then I'm going to 3D instead of, sorry. And that's why when you come here, you have to be very careful what we are talking about. So you're not really left out. So let me just open one of the project like this, so that from there we are able to determine what we want to really work on. Great. I don't know whether, because I'm talking about circuit, so it should be able to give me a new one. Right. Great. So let me just delete all this so that let me just pick this. So let me delete this so that we start afresh. Of course, okay. When at least we've talked about this tool and we are able to really have it the way we talked, and we said probably you also need to know the components, the list of components that are there. That is now in my project, but majorly this is the components. This is a component list, and these components, these are basic. I think these are basically the ones that come with that in the Arduino kit. You'll find ultrasonic, you'll find all this, and the segment, all of them, they come, the LED. Then probably let's just take all of them. And if you pick in this particular kind of mode, you'll be able to see what each one does. A resistor restricts the flow of electricity in the circuit, reducing the voltage and the current as a result. Capacitor, what does it do? For those people who want to know some of these, input devices like push button, potentiometer, slide switch, photoresistor, these are input button, photodiode, and ambient light. Then the ultrasonic distance sensor, we've talked about that, PR sensor. I'm just going through this so that people know. The keypad, if you want to make a water ATM, look at people wasting a lot of water. So you just say put money, put 10 bob, and then the water comes. Then if you waste that 10 bob, it's upon you to add another 10 bob for you to get water for 10 bob. You can use the keypad, and you can imagine the way this is the way keypad, so that somebody just put 10 shillings and enters, and then water comes out. So think about so many projects that we can do in the village. The ATM for water is very important. People are not responsible with water, and that one is one of the SDGs. The gas sensor we've talked about, LED, light bulbs, all this you can be able to get them. But today we want to talk about the segment. This is the 7th segment, the 1202 LCD we have also talked about. So basically all these things are here. You can learn about them and know what they are able to do and kind of learn more. Let me just delete this keypad for now. So what we have is this, and then I think we also need breadboard. We need a breadboard here, and I'll pick the small size, half. Remember we said we have the mini board and the half board and the full board. That one is something we've talked about. So let me bring this one here. So these are the things we'll be using for today. This is basically, these are the equipment we are going to connect here. Then maybe now in the following lesson, we'll connect it live and see it work and code it and have it work. So then let me pull this one here. And I'm going to go again, go over what we talked about. So this is for this pin is for DP, which is decimal point. If you're able to see, let me zoom it further. Then this is C, is the one that turns on this light here in C. Okay, then this is common, this is D, and this is E. And yes, so things work like that. So in our case, we see it's a common one that we want to, for example, let us first of all bring power to the board. And we are going to bring the power to the board. How? I think by maybe let us take power from 5 volts here and take the power and make a corner and probably put the power here. Yeah, so it is on the plus, and because it is green, let us make it red. So you come here and change the cable to red. The jumper wire is now red. And then now we also need to get ground. So ground, oh, sorry, you see when it does not, it passes through the Arduino, it may confuse people. So I want to make it look a bit neat. So up to here, so that we get that here, okay? Or maybe let us just take it up. Let us take it up. Let us take it up, sorry. So let me just leave that one first of all. Let us pick this, and if possible, because it must be seen to be coming outside there. Let me put it like that so that at least it shows very clearly. Then I'll take one of the ground and run with it. Let me just, okay, put it just here. I really wanted a situation where we can just take it up here, put it on the other one. And remember, we talked about the connection that is there with the pins inside the board. You see, this row is connected. This row is also connected. This row is also connected. The same. You see, we'll be using pin 11 there, and number 12, row number 13, row number 14, row number 15. So we know what we'll be dealing with. So in our case, we said the one in the middle is the common one. So definitely we are going to take a cable from here to connect to this, the negative. Okay, let us put it there. And this one, because it's a negative, we put it black. Okay, and then this one, again, the common one. Remember, you just get to see this is a common one, and we do we have to put it there? Sorry. Just pick this and then take it to the positive side. Great. And this is red. Remember, this is the red. This is the red jumper wire, as we talked about that. So let us see, imagine that's how we have connected our gadget for now. That's how we have connected the power in. So we want to start connecting the pins, and probably the pins, we are going to connect them as follows. One, we just want to pin E, remember this is E, this is common, A, B, C, D, E. So we'll start with E here. E, let us connect it to pin 13 and here. And then we have D, this is D. Let us connect it to pin 12. And then common is already connected. Then we have C. Let us connect this to pin 11. Then the decimal point, let us put it on pin 10. We may need the decimal point if we need to connect it. And this wire should look black, sorry, to leave us so that when we're using the green, we are aware of what we're doing. So that is how it should be. Then, of course, we have pin 9, pin B, A. So where is B? Remember, this is B, A, B. Okay, so we take pin B and we can connect pin B to 9 here. Okay, and then so that it doesn't look so bad. Let me just put some corner here. Wow. Okay, then pin 8, D8, we can connect it to pin okay. Let me just pick some root here so that the work looks neat. So that the work looks neat. So we've said that is number 8. And 8, we are connecting it to the pin here. This is A, so we'll put it here. Okay. I think this pin, which is hiding behind, let us remove it so that we just start again and probably do like this and like this. Something a bit neat. Like that, okay? Then we have the other pin is that we have left with is these two other pins here, F and G, and this one in the middle, okay? So F and G, we can still continue using our very whatever. Yeah, so let us say pins, let us use pin 7 of the Arduino, and let this one go up and let it come here. Then again, number 6. Let number 6 come here. And so all the pins are now connected. All the pins are now connected, as you can see. So we are good to go. So what we want to do next is to code. Now that we have connected it, we will want to code. And the coding is, of course, as usual, we usually say that you set. Now, I don't really wish that we use this, this kind of whatever. We don't want to use the block-based for now here, because I know many of us are still using Arduino. So definitely they are new to Arduino. So we want you to get used to the Arduino software before getting to use Scratch on it, because if you'll be biased on Scratch because it's easier to use the blocks, but it's also recommended that you learn how to do physical coding, because physical coding is also very important. I think time is up, so the next part of this is just to have it now coded. Now that we have connected it right, remember these two common pins. There is something I've left out, and that's very important. That it's about the resistor. We didn't really get the resistor. Sorry. I forgot. Forgot the resistor, because the resistor, forgot to put the resistor. So resistor, because or else like this it is not recommended. So we need two. So one, we'll put it here to connect that part, and the other one we connect this other part. Remember the common, remember the parts which are common, the common part, the common terminal, common, and then common, okay? So common, common. So these are the ones we are connecting to the power, okay? Down here, so on the Arduino for the power, and the one is on the ground, the other one is on the negative, or the 5 volts. Sorry, one is on the ground and the other one is on the 5 volts. Today, it's kindly, I'm not understanding what the 7 is and actually what it does. Kindly get me out of the dark. Thanks. Okay, good, perfect. This 7 segment display does a lot. If you have ever walked in the street and you have seen the traffic light, the way that it counts, that is, they're using that. It's a 7-segment display. 7-segment display is all over. The watches we put on, especially the disco light, the disco ones, the digital one, you'll always see it lighting like that. That is how the display works. In most of our projects, we'll need it, especially when we want probably display something to do with, maybe you want to do something to do with temperature. So the temperature may be used to show such things. And I think maybe to finalize, let me just take you back. We started from here. This person is asking, I don't understand, but you have seen this. You must have seen this somewhere. Where did you see such kind of lighting? That is what the 7-segment does. So you must have seen it somewhere. This is what it does. So if you are in the dark now, imagine you are now becoming to the light. I don't know whether this is where we started. So everybody's, we wanted to find out what is this display. It comes with Arduino. What can we also do with it? Because all these things you see around us were made from such microcontrollers like Arduino. And I'm very sure traffic lights are that one of those equipment that are just systems that are working behind it. Just an Arduino microcontroller is the one running, or a similar microcontroller like that of Arduino is the one running it. And then with a lot of coding and putting a lot of artificial intelligence, it works as it does. So this is the 7-segment display, and we call it 7 because of the 7 section that it has. One, if you count all these, you'll find 1A, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are like 7 LEDs put together. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you for the questions. Part 2, we'll be talking about how now to code it to have it light the way it is lit in the other part. Thank you for today. Thank you for the questions. Keep asking. Yeah, so the next session we'll be talking more about this and how to code it to be able to light the different ends. Thank you. Bye-bye for today.